Against the clock, it really didn't matter. Mickey, your defended Kentucky.
No scriptwriter could have ever written a better story.
Well, hello there, and a very warm welcome to you wherever you may be watching from around the world. Amy Parks here with you for this edition of the Clip My Horse TV in and out studio this afternoon, bringing you all of the action from CHIO Rotterdam. Of course, we find ourselves in the Netherlands this weekend as a heat wave sweeps across Europe. Than one. Fantastic classes coming out of that show in Rotterdam. I'm not on my own. I am joined once again by my friend and colleague, Charlotte Smet.
This week on In Out, we're joined by Charlotte Smet. Charlotte isn't just an analyst. She's a professional rider herself. That insider experience in the saddle gives her a unique perspective on the numbers, breaking down the data with a rider's instinct. From performance trends to those crucial split-second decisions on course. The arena. Get ready for sharper insights and smarter takes. Only here on Clip My Horse TV. In Out.
Well, lovely to have you here, Charlotte. Gosh, you've had a busy week.
Busy week, but I'm delighted to be here. Now, it is a lot hotter than I expected it to be. I've come from Ireland. We don't get temperatures like this out there.
This is run-of-the-mill for the Australians. Of course, we are expecting a little bit different the way it hits in Europe, though. And, of course, it is having an impact on our show today, Charlotte. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. There is plenty to come from CHIO Rotterdam. We want to bring you in, though. We want to let you know how where we are today. It's an existential question, one we all ponder from time to time, but let's keep it to horse shows, shall we? Of course, this is CHIO Rotterdam. It's the only CHIO, of course, in the Netherlands. Countries are only permitted to hold one of these multidiscipline events every year, and this is the Netherlands' only outdoor five-star event for show jumping, certainly here this time around. Now, this particular event has been running since 1948 at this particular venue, a beautiful venue it is that we're going to learn a little bit more about coming up shortly. And this is Rotterdam's oldest international sporting event. And that's incredible for equestrian sport. What an absolute hallmark. Part of the FEI series is the Longines League of Nations too. Very, very important stop in the tour, and what a competition that has been over the course of the week in Rotterdam as well. So plenty to come this afternoon from Rotterdam. Now we know a little bit more about it. Our reporter, Frankie Reid-Warrilow, has been there all week catching all of the action, and she's going to bring us up to speed now with what's going on, what it's like, and I can tell it's warm. Frankie.
Hi, Amy and Charlotte. Thank you so much for having me, and welcome to Rotterdam. Absolutely, you've already covered it, Charlotte. It's been a heat wave here, and it's been very, very hot. Yesterday, last night was about 35 degrees with no wind, but actually the riders and horses coping really, really well with that. It's a really unique venue here because although we're in the middle of an industrial city by the port, you'd be forgiven for thinking that we were in the centre of the countryside. It's really natural, lots of trees which provided that much wanted shade area yesterday. And the warm-up for the horse and riders is actually about 200 metres away from the in-out gate, and that is under trees. But compared to other five-star shows, it's really quiet. There's no public there, really. There's not a lot of music, and it gives the horses and riders a real chance to gel together and stay really focused before they head down the chute through the woods for a nice little hack towards this in-out gate. And actually the atmosphere here is bubbling. Last night for the Longines League of Nations, as you've already said, it was electric. The spectators are surrounding the arena less than a metre away from the sides, and it really creates this atmosphere that the riders are all wanting to be here for. Ben Mayer even said in his press conference that that's one of the reasons they come here, not just for the history, as you've touched upon, but also for this modern element of sport that makes it so exciting. So we're looking forward to this speed class this afternoon. Lots of riders bringing specific horses here just for this class, so I think it's going to be a really, really exciting one as we build up to it.
Thanks, Frankie. Yeah, certainly looking pretty warm there. But as I say, you know, the riders do love to come to Rotterdam.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's in a beautiful setting, like Frankie said, in the woods. And luckily, that also creates a little bit of shade for the horses, the riders, the grooms, the owners, all the fans. And I think being in that kind of wooded area also creates a sense of calm in a bit of chaos that is a 5-star show jumping event. So I think it's a really special venue, especially, and we keep saying it week on week, heading to those World Championships in Aachen in a couple of weeks' time. This is the atmosphere that the riders want to be in. They want to practice for themselves. How do they cope with the pressure? How do the horses cope with the pressure? It can be hot in Aachen as well for the World Championships. So this could be a good test. How does my horse cope in these temperatures? And so on and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Every little percentage is thinking towards those World Championships in August, of course. But for this weekend, we are in Rotterdam. Frankie has been there taking a little bit more of a look at this venue in focus.
Welcome to the CHIO Rotterdam 5-star show. Rotterdam is the second largest city here in the Netherlands, but Europe's biggest seaport. However, after the Second World War, it had to be completely rebuilt from the ground up. So there's a nice combination of modern architecture, but historic culture. This is the leading 5-star show in the Netherlands, and it combines world-class dressage and show jumping, bringing together some of the best riders in the world year in and year out. For 187 years, the Riding Club of Rotterdam has been based here, but for this week only, the CHIO takes over. Tucked into a quiet corner in the woods is where you will find the stables for the week. And then there's these lovely, long, relaxing walks through the woods, which allows the horse and riders a chance to really focus before heading to the hubbub and the excitement of the main arena. The atmosphere surrounding this arena is absolutely electric. With the crowds and the music, it feels a lot more like a concert than a horse show, with everybody getting involved and cheering their riders on. This is a venue steeped in history and culture, a world where you will find a mix of modern entertainment, horse-first infrastructure, but also a show that really has sport at the forefront. All eyes are on the World Equestrian Games in August, but which riders can seal their ticket to glory?
Oh, well, that's exactly the question that everybody is asking and will continue to ask until... This is an incredible venue. As we said, it's played host to this leg of a Longines League of Nations. It is the third leg of this incredible series. It was some showdown on Friday, Charlotte. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, but here it is, of course, the Longines League of Nations.
The Longines League of Nations is heating up. This is elite sport on the global stage, where individual talent builds a national story, where pressure is shared and victory is collective. 10 nations, 4 qualifiers, 1 title. Welcome to Rotterdam.
Longines Live in Nations, it is something to behold. It really is. Of course, it sort of took over from the traditional Nations Cup sort of series that we see. We still do see Nations Cup competitions as standalone, but this has taken over as the Longines series. We've had legs already, leg 1 in Abu Dhabi earlier this year, leg 2 in Ocala in Florida, with big victories there for France and Germany, respectively, Charlotte. And this was a big week here in Rotterdam. But there's been so much build-up to this in Rotterdam, hasn't there? And it's been an impressive series so far this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what is so special, what makes the Longines League of Nations so special is that second round where you do not have a drop score. You only have 3 riders coming forward from each team, but every single one of their scores counts. And that just creates so much more excitement because even though, you know, there can be that second because everything counts. And we've seen that over the past couple of years that really shake things up. I mean, Abu Dhabi was a really tough leg. Ocala was very interesting to behold. We had a very, very strong German team going in there on paper, and they made that come true. They were incredibly strong. Double clears there for Claudio with Richard Vogel and the Olympic champion Christian Kukuk and Checker. So, you know, that German team really came out on top there. And then we've come here to Rotterdam, and what I find so interesting is that we had that 3-way jump off for the win. It's very rare that we would see, well, it's not rare to see a jump off for the win in the Nations Cup or an LLN, but to see it with 3 teams is a lot more rare, and it does create a little bit more excitement, and you can really tell that the sport is heating up towards those World Championships. Like, everyone is wanting to put their best foot forward. You can see that the courses that are being built are also a little bit more technical. The horses are being tested on their scope. The riders are being tested on their technicality and how can they deal with the pressure. And the LLN has been a great part of that, and we saw that here on Friday as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good opportunity there where we look at riders in sort of the team environment as well. It's another piece to have a look at these riders and these horses going in that team formation as well and how they operate all together. Last year in Rotterdam, it was a pretty convincing, it was a good win for the Dutch team on home soil. Obviously this week there was a lot of build-up around that team going into the competition, and our FEI Media House team had the chance to catch up with them.
Last year it was the first time I was chef d'équipe, team chef, and we were winning it, so that was super excited, and yeah, we hope we can continue this year. With the girl, Sanne Thijssen, and she's riding Cupcake, who did already in Ocala a very good Nations Cup. So I hope she can start tomorrow with a good clear round, so that gives the boys a little bit more pressure.
My horse Gramorado TN NOP has been a wonderful horse. He likes it here. We won the Nations Cup already 2 times together. It's always exciting to be here in Rotterdam to ride for your home crowd and people, and it's an honor to represent your country.
Yeah, I must say we have very good memories. In the last few years we won several times. That was a bit Monaco. Now I changed horse to Mr. Tak, and hopefully we can continue with this very good streak we had.
I think we have still again a strong team with good riders and horses who did a lot of clear rounds and good shows. So I hope we can do the same, and we're really going for it.
We want to bring it home for the team, for the home.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on the old Dutch team going into this competition this week. It wasn't quite theirs though, but that comes again about that home ground. There's obviously sometimes for riders an advantage, and it's wonderful. We saw that last week in France with the French getting right behind everybody. But also it can sometimes be that added pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think place, which is very respectable. I mean, there's some really strong horse and rider combinations, some really strong nations in this team competition. So I wouldn't be too disappointed, but I do understand that when you are competing in front of your home crowd, probably also family coming to watch, friends, that you would want to be on that podium when the prize giving is being awarded.
Absolutely. And so would many of the riders. And the riders in Rotterdam this week are very excited to be there. The crowd's behind each and every one of them, of course. Despite the heat, they are still showing up in droves, and we had the opportunity to catch up with some of the riders before the Longines League of Nations.
The first two legs for us were super special. Ocala, it means a lot to us, for us to win there. Now we are back in Rotterdam. We want to stay on the top for sure.
It was always a dream from me to be.
That's a big achievement, and we have strong riders here like Rodrigo.
Last year we were winning it, so that was super excited, and yeah, we hope we can continue this year in the same.
We want to bring it home for the team, for the home crowd.
It's always exciting to be here in Rotterdam.
This is a wonderful place.
It's an amazing venue with so much history. Makes a big difference as a rider.
Wherever we are on the leaderboard, as a rider, your job is to jump clear.
Pressure is always there, I think.
Nations Cups are always an interesting dynamic. There's greater gravity to everything that happens.
We have a lot of pressure in the second round, but I really like it. It's different, and they put the pressure on each team.
And we hope that we can move up from our current position in the standings.
It's a big year for Brazil, with the focus going forward to Barcelona to try to move up and get there in the best position as possible.
I think we have very good combinations, rider and horses, in our team.
It would be nice to win on my birthday, but that would be a nice present from the team to me as well. But yeah, looking forward to tomorrow and enjoy the day.
We're all very competitive, and I think the orange gives us a little extra boost.
Yeah, so a lot of hype around this competition, a fantastic competition, as they say, and the riders hold it in esteem. It's very esteemed, this competition. It's very, very special to them. It means a lot in this year, as we've said. Talking about Friday's competition, it obviously was an interesting jump-off, but an incredible victory for Great Britain. I tell you what, though, they put up quite a team, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, a strong team, brother and sister on the same team together. Add in Ben Mayer, add in Jessica Mendoza. I mean, that's always one to beat. But I love that we had those three teams tying for first place after 2 rounds, and that we had to go over to a jump-off. I was touching on it earlier. That is quite rare to have the 3 teams in together, especially in the format of an LLN, where you don't have a drop score in that second round. Really pushed each other to their extremes, and it was actually Harry Charles and a new ride for him, LT Holst Frida, who is only, very new in his stables, came from Julie Davey from New Zealand, who we saw
them at the World Cup.
Exactly, at World Cup finals, were really impressive. And it's lovely to see that horse then...
She's lovely, the horse,
yeah,
too, really nice.
Go to a new rider and still, catch on. They seem to have a really good click, triple clear for those, for that combination so early on in their partnership. And it's very exciting for Harry. It's very exciting for that British team. It's very exciting for a lot of different people in their team right now.
It really is. It reminded me a lot of watching those epic tennis battles in one of these Grand Slam tennis finals or something like that, where they just go all night and you have to stay up till 3 a.m. to watch it. This was one where you couldn't look away.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And it was really, up until the end, it was all to play for. So that makes for really, really good sport.
Well, speaking of Harry Charles and that wonderful Frida, the new mare in his stable, who's come from New Zealand. Thanks very much to our fun out there for sharing the wealth. We're going to take a look at how Harry's rounds went in those final stages.
Harry Charles, world number 48. Along with Ben Mayer, picked up team gold at Olympic Games in Paris to add to their medal haul. Harry Charles rides his brand new ride, LT Holst Frida, just at their 6th competition together, and what a clear in the first round.
Well, super. Peter Charles' dad must be so thrilled to have 2 children here riding the 5-star Nations Cup. Just seen that clear with Sienna and Harry already done a clear. Can he do a double clear?
And this horse, Frida, finished 19th place. Top 20 finish at the World Cup final recently. That was with Julie Davis. Julie Davy.
This horse just absolutely launches itself on the last stride. You can, could just really hear that real boom boom on takeoff. Must give a great feeling. That must have felt great. Harry just leaning into that 5 strides and then sitting up, getting there nicely. That's the thing, he's just working out how to get that perfect momentum. The actual landing and breakaway stride is much better this round than the first round. I would say it was a little bit pitchy through that line, and this is looking great. Last
2 fences to go. Harry Charles for Great Britain. They're currently joint leaders on 8 penalties. Can Harry Charles keep them there? He does. 70.73 the time. Plenty of time on the clock. They hardly know each other, this combination. And wow, what a partnership they have already formed. A double clear in the Longines League of Nations in Rotterdam for Harry Charles and LT Holst Frida. But importantly, that keeps Great Britain tied on 8 penalties. What a moment for the Charles family. Harry Charles for Great Britain. Harry still just 26 years old.
You'll sort of notice where number 1 is situated. The horses have to come around the sort of the garden area, the sort of the bushy area, right past where they've just come in to number 1.
Harry Charles, first to go in the 3-way jump-off for Great Britain. LT Holst Frida. 12-year-old mare owned by Julie Davy, bred by E. McIntosh. Double clear in the first 2 rounds.
Harry just moving up into a nice, like a bigger canter. Try to get a good one over number 1 and just to keep going, and then he's got to do a turn back. There's 8 strides and then inside.
B and C of the combination.
Yeah, that takes some jumping. 5 strides to that vertical, that was great. Now just he's going wide, but he's turning short. And
still
how
clear.
Many strides?
1 to go. Harry Charles, Great Britain, down to the last. Absolutely spot on, perfect.
That was fantastic.
31.18 the time. Triple clear rounds for Harry Charles and LT Holst Frida. This is a story unfolding. Looked after by Georgia Elwood.
I think we got another wow from Harry there. That was just a superb round.
Super stuff. Triple clear from Harry Charles there. Wow. I mean, that is some form. I mean, there is some string there for Harry that that's a new addition to his stable, and certainly
on a stage like this, on a hot day like that, I mean, maybe being a Kiwi plays into Frida's advantage a little bit to deal with the heat. But great partnership, great start to a partnership, really exciting. Cannot say it enough.
Yeah. With the man himself, who is the lucky man himself. He's the dad. He's the patriarch of the Charles family. It is, of course, Peter Charles. He's there all weekend with his wonderful children who are doing great stuff for Team GB. Frankie.
Is it dad or is it coach?
Always coach. We train I've trained the kids since they were started. That hasn't changed. So fine. You're always dad and the coach when we're on horseback, training, thinking, theory, practice, competition. Yeah, it's fine.
Last night, the Longines League of Nations, it's the first time I've seen this format and this class. I thought it was fascinating. What was your take on it?
Well, since it was introduced at the Tokyo Olympics, myself and Pedro Fredriksson really advocated for it as a fantastic format because the general public who are not universally aligned with the rules and regulations can understand it. It's very, very dynamic. It's high drama. The place has changed, and it's so easy to follow for the folks outside of show jumping. So without doubt, it is the best format, and these are the best competitions for team jumping.
High drama. I mean, last night after round one, Great Britain were on 8 penalties. At that moment in time, it was, oh, we've got nowhere to stand, but it all changed.
Yeah, lads and girls dug in deep, and they got 3 clears. The pressure was on the other teams, not on us, so that was fine. And then all of a sudden we're into a jump-off situation from a relatively low starting position, which shows you the intensity of the competition and how you have to deliver on the day.
And I was sat there watching as a spectator thinking, oh, who are they going to send in? Because each team only sends in 1 rider for the jump-off.
Correct. So I was up there with Di, and we have a technical advisor, great guy, Stanley Van Passion. And I just looked at him and said, you okay with Harry for the jump-off? And he went, yeah. I said, good. It's a new horse to him, and I thought another round would be beneficial to him. We have an eye on maybe the World Championships with her. So it's a table seed the first day, and I thought this would be a great way of getting some mileage in against the clock. So he was fine. Harry was fine going in. You know, he rides like he does with great precision and smoothness, and the mare was jumped fantastically well for him.
As a rider, he was first to go in that jump off. The weight of, riding for your country is on his shoulders. What was his plan? I mean, do you just think, let's go?
It was a relatively simple jump off. There was 2 turns mainly, back to the double and back to the last line. So as long as he did the distances in the right number, landed as steeply to get a tight turn in as you could, he did. He made a fantastic turn to the second last and just kept it coming. The mare is a naturally quick athlete, so that helped. And it was tight, the margin, but luckily we were the right side of it.
When you're watching on, we started the interview by saying dad or coach. Do those emotions start to blur a little bit with the pride of he's just gone and done what you asked him to do and nailed it?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm pretty cool with it all. It's what we train for. It's our job. It's what we do, and I expect it.
Love it. Okay, so today, 150 5-star class. Both Sienna and Harry are in it. And both of them brought specific horses for this class?
No.
Okay.
No, Harry's jumping his Grand Prix horse tomorrow, Sherlock, so he'll most probably only jump half to 3/4 of the way around, depending on how he feels, so it's a warm-up for him for tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
But this horse hasn't done much this week, and he's in the Grand Prix. And Sienna will be in it to try and do as well as she can, maybe get a top 3 or 4 place. So she's in it to have a go.
And what are these classes like compared to the Grand Prix tomorrow?
They're lower in intensity, so the height is lower. It's 150 as against 160, which is 2 holes lower. The time allowed will be a bit more lenient perhaps, but not much. The lines will be just as technical, but mainly it'll be the height difference. It will still be a high intensity class. The level will be tough. It'll be equal to like a good 3-star Grand Prix.
And are there any key riders to look out for other than Sienna and Harry?
Well, the Germans haven't had a good week, so I expect them to wake up a bit.
Brilliant, Peter. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Big thanks to Peter Charles there. Yeah, talking us through everything that was going on. Very, very interesting to hear because we talk about this a little bit. The riders really have to have a strategy going into these classes. So Harry will
no particular horse. Are they going to try and win? Are they trying to get mileage? Are they schooling? Are they preparing for something tomorrow, like the Grand Prix, or for something 3 weeks away? Mm-hmm. You know, they all have different plans in their head, and it's really what they are set out to do. That is what we'll see this afternoon. So we'll see different rounds today. We'll see one's really trying to go for it. We'll see people not being worried about a time penalty or anything like that. And that's really interesting always to watch on these Saturday 150 classes at a 5-star, because you do see also younger horses coming forward, maybe stepping up to that level for the first time. So it's always a very interesting class to watch.
Exactly right. When it gets to the top end of things, the strategy is a little more than to make it through the finish on your horse. We must talk about today's class then, of course. Let's give you 4 facts about this class that we're about to see in a short amount of time, of course. It is the Boels Prize. It's a table A, so 1 round against the clock with a jump off, but the maximum height here is 1.50 metre, so not quite the highest we see in 5-star show jumping, but almost there, and it'll be pretty tough regardless. This is our course designer, Bart Vonk, of course. This is the 2nd year for him designing at Rotterdam, and the prize money on this occasion is €30,000, so a little bit to play for today. And there'll be several factors that will come into consideration as well when we're thinking about things with rider strategy, Charlotte. The heat, that is playing as it's all happening here, as we are in the show, as we are live, that is actually playing a huge role in who we're going to see take to this. We have a predicted number of how many we think are going to go through to this jump off.
Yes, we do. Now, you talked about the heat, and that's been having a bit of an effect, because when we ran these numbers, we had 41 combinations on the start list. A couple of people have elected not to jump. It's maybe a little bit too warm. They don't need the extra mileage. They're happy to just leave their horse where there is. Now we currently have 35 going through to the first round. So based on the 41 that we originally said, we were expecting to have 13 combinations in the jump off. Now that we're down to 35, I'm expecting more an 11 or a 12 to go through to the jump off. But over the past couple of years, that really has been very flexible. We've had 22 go through to the jump off in 2016, 21, in 2021. But then last year, for example, we had way less. We only had 4, and the year before we had 7. So it does change a little bit, but based on the average round 1 clear rate for this class, it has been 32%. I'm thinking maybe 11 or 12 at this point.
Exactly. So that's how many we think are going to make it through. Let's take a look at the clear chances then in terms of the numbers. As we said, big changes to the start list. We are going, but in terms of who the clear chances are, some of those key names still remain on the list, and there's a man there.
Stranger to the heat, living in California. So Carl Cook and Foxy de la Roque have a 57% chance of jumping clear today. Also could be interesting looking towards tomorrow. Would Foxy be his Grand Prix horse, knowing that Caracol already jumped the LLN on Friday and jumped double clear? So that could be an interesting factor to keep in mind. We already heard from Peter Charles that Harry have elected not to jump this class today, just like Abassem Mohammed and Watnam Issam. That was a newer withdrawal, so they are not coming forward. But then Niamh McAvoy, an Olympic, a very interesting combination. Niamh, such an incredible rider. I've seen her a lot on the national circuit in Ireland with this horse as well. Won a 4-star Grand Prix out at Sunshine Tour at the beginning of the year, second the week after. I mean, that is a stellar combination. Bas Moorings and Ipstar for the home nation. Already quite strong in the LLN on Friday for their home team, a clear and a 4. They were the stars of the show in 's-Hertogenbosch when they won. Type of competition today could be very interesting, and they were very well loved combination in Rotterdam for sure.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So that is interesting how those things will figure in. The fact that we have a few people changing their strategy, a few people have decided not to. Looked at that. I think it's good to set up this competition as well by looking at our previous winners, because it does build a little bit of momentum and gives us a little bit of an idea about sort of where we are with things. And it's a fair list of names there.
A great list. I mean, Bertram Allen, Pacino Miro won it last year. Pacino Miro, who went to the Olympics for Bertram at the age of 9. So very strong combination. René Lopez Lizarazo and Kiros van het Hoogende was a very strong combination. Back then, Jarina and Pieter de Vos was a younger horse when she won this class 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, sorry. But has really been up and coming for Pieter since then. Really does well in those classes. I mean, Julien Epaillard, Donatello Dorje, they need no introduction whatsoever. World Cup final champions last year. They won this class 4 years ago. So it is maybe a class that kind of, for those up and coming horses that, you know, might not yet be ready to jump the Grand Prix or have already jumped a Grand Prix and are just ready to step down a little bit just for the confidence, this definitely could be a class for those type of horses to come out and really put their best foot forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So very interesting there. We saw, of course, last year's winner was Bertram Allen with Pacino Miro. We want to take a look at how that round played out last year.
Currently at 38.16 to beat Bertram Allen. The time to beat 38.16. Twist and turn your way back towards the finish, lands there in 26. Now it's just a race to the finish. Can he be quicker? It's going to be tight. I think he's done it. Has he? Yes, he has. 37.88. Bertram Allen, neat and tidy, and Pacino Miro's got such a stride. Just eats up the ground. Look at that, cool. I love that. Finished, long rein, relax.
Good stuff from Bertie. We want to talk about the riders that come forward today and about the form that they bring with them. All of these last-minute changes have thrown it into disarray a little bit, but you've got it under control, as always. Cool, calm and collected.
I'm not sure about that, but we do still have our form combination coming forward for this class, and that is Marilyn Little and Heidi van Imhoff. Have jumped 16 rounds at CSI 4-star and 5-star 150 and higher. 10 of them clear, which is a clear rate of 63%, which is incredibly impressive. Marilyn Little, of course, on great form in the last couple of months. On Friday, when she jumped triple clear for Team USA on La Contessa, now coming forward on Heidi van Imhoff. Very exciting horse for her as well, and really this 150 is the sweet spot for this horse, so very exciting to look forward to them. Unfortunately, we will not be seeing Michael Duffy and Mr. Cornick, nor will we be seeing Bassem Mohammed and Watnam Issam. Harry Charles and Sherlock on form, of course, but we heard from Peter that they will be schooling today. Hessel Hoekstra and VDL Mindset ES, I think, is a very interesting combination also for that Dutch home crowd. A younger horse, a younger rider, but have already shown some really, really impressive things at the highest level. We spoke about them in Amsterdam. I don't know if you remember, but you know, 50% clear rate at this level. I think this could be a class that they are definitely aiming for with this horse and could be their exact sweet spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is interesting, like you say, for Harry Charles. He'll want to come in because, and the important thing to note about this is that that is about protecting the horse. It is very hot out there. It's been a long week. They're at a 5-star show. The big class is tomorrow. To jump the horse today and to have foot to the floor all day isn't a smart choice. Harry will be looking after his horses. He will make sure that Sherlock's feeling comfortable, that he only does as much as the horse can do before he has to jump that big class tomorrow. So that is very, very important to remember. We want to talk about our favourite in a little more depth than Marilyn Little, because it's been quite some week for Marilyn.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, getting to jump off for Team USA, putting in that clear, just fractions behind the clear in the jump off that Harry Charles and LTLs Frida produced. So already a great week for them. Now coming forward on Heidi van Imhoff, who we just chatted about briefly. They already finished on a podium in a 150 class in Mexico back in May, and also had a 5th place in a 155 class in Rome. Those 155 classes in Rome, they're almost like a mini Grand Prix.
Yeah, beefy.
Yeah, exactly, they're beefy. So there's definitely coming in on a good run of form. Marilyn carries that confidence and that form through from the LLN on Friday. So definitely a combination to look forward to, and also a very good draw. They're quite late to go, so for a jump off, that's very positive for them as well.
Yeah, and super to see all these US riders here in Europe this summer, of course. Here it is again, here's the flag, World Championship year. So we're seeing the Americans get a good run. It's great for us to lay our eyes on them, of course. We want to talk about another member of the Charles family. It's the Charles family show this afternoon, who is doing just super and had another great day
in the LLN of Rotterdam at her very young age. Is so impressive, and she does it so well. Today coming forward on Stardust, we heard from Peter that they are going to give it a crack. They've been together for a very long time. I think it was Stardust that gave Sienna maybe her first rounds at 5-star level. Yep. So, you know, they know each other through and through. There's so much trust there. They had a podium finish in a 3-star Grand Prix in Doha at the start of the year. They know how to perform. They know how to perform at this level. And if Peter Charles says they're going to give it a crack, and I'm another rider in that field, I would be scared.
Look out, here she comes. Well, the perfect segue into the fact that Sienna Charles is actually our rider in focus for today. Frankie caught up with her.
Hi, I'm Sienna Charles and I'm at CHIO Rotterdam this week, and my horses with me are Chawton and Stardust for the 5-star. My horse for the Nations Cup is Chawton, and he's a very special horse to, I think, everyone at Heathcroft Farm. We bred him and we sort of have been growing up together and doing the big classes together. So yeah, I'm very excited to see how that goes. So he actually started his career with Max Routledge, and then Robert Murphy took him over until about 8 years old, and then I took over the reins. I think last year that was a very big year for me in terms of getting experience, and now I like to think I sort of know him a bit more at this level. Dad has trained me ever since I was little. I've only ever had him as a trainer, and Harry is someone I really look up to as a rider as well. He's on the team with me this week, so it's very nice to be here at the show with him, and he'll always give me some advice if I need it. So in 2021 I had heart surgery, and then just after I got back from that in the saddle, I had post-concussion syndrome from a fall just on the flat. It was very unlucky. And then about 2 years ago, I had 4 fractures in my spine and a lesion in my spinal cord. So that was another hefty one. I think from a young age, being this young is quite a lot to happen. But I think now I'm in a good place. I have to be careful and have a lot of maintenance, but it's sort of given me that extra fight to sort of catch up and be like, I want to do this as much as everyone else. I remember one time I was in bed with my mum. I was in the hospital with my back, and I just broke down saying, I don't think I'll ever get on a horse. I can't imagine ever getting on a horse again, just being of the pain and state I was in. I couldn't walk. I had people showering me. And that was a point where I was like, I don't know if it'll ever happen to me again. It was actually Stardust. Yeah, she's the one that looked after me. She's actually very hot, but she'll never do anything. But I have to be careful which horses I ride now, so I do try to stay off the young horses as much as I want to be involved with them, and that's why we do it, for the love of the horse. And Chawton, he's literally everything to me, and I think that We have a great partnership, and yeah, he's just very special.
Super stuff. Really lovely to get to know Sienna there. And just to hear, I mean, again, I'm going to go again with the tears, but it's just, you know, you just never know. And every ride you need to be grateful for. Every moment we have with these horses, we are so grateful for, because you just never know. And so young to have gone through that.
Absolutely. It's incredibly inspiring to have so many setbacks so early on in her career and to just keep coming back. LLN, it's incredibly inspiring.
Are the ones that get you there. A difference is made by those who show up, and boy, has she shown up, and the people have shown up for her. Who else is showing up? A reporter on the sidelines. Frankie, there's been lots of changes to this start list. It will look very, very
from the class, but the riders are in there now walking the course, so it's been set. They're out there getting their steps in, making sure they know where they're going, and I think even though there's been some withdrawals, I still think it's going to be a very exciting class, and the riders that are in it are probably going to be in it to win it. But also we do know from the horse's mouth himself, Peter, that Harry in particular is using it as a bit of a warm-up and a prep class for tomorrow. The weather isn't as bad yet today as it was yesterday. I mean, yesterday was pretty stiflingly hot. I think I mentioned it earlier, 35 degrees, not even a breath of wind. Today is a lot cooler and it's nicer for the horses. And also the warm-up is under shade, which is quite nice. So the only time they really have to be completely exposed to the sun is when they're in this sandbox behind us. I think the other thing to take note of, Yuri Mansour, one of the withdrawals, he's one of the favourites. And also Irish rider Michael Duffy. So that means last year's Irish winner can only be contested by fellow country person Niamh McAvoy, the young rider. So it'll be really interesting to watch her give it a go. You were talking there as well about Sienna and how emotional you were getting listening to her. It was amazing to interview her, how humble she was, what a nice person, but also I've really got a sense of how much she loved her horse. And the horse that she's riding in this class, she's really looking forward to giving it a go. So I think she's going to be one to watch. And then Marilyn Little, another amazing lady who I had the honour of speaking to this morning, the same sort of thing, incredible stories, these inspiring backstories that is what sport is all about and what keeps us all hooked and wanting to know how they get on as they go into the main arena in a short while time and give this class a really, really good go. But as I said, the wind is blowing, which is a welcome relief from the very, very hot weather here in Rotterdam.
Thanks, Frankie. Well, that is something to note. Something that will play a factor as well is it looks like quite a breeze that's blowing there, but a little bit of relief for our horses and for our riders in this very, very hot weather. Of course, heat wave blasting Europe, Charlotte. We, of course, want to talk about the jump off. This is a jump off class today. It's 1.50 metre jump off to come. We've had some changes to the start list. If we're looking at a jump off, who are the ones that are the most likely to make it super dangerous?
Well, we're losing quite a couple of our dangerous in a jump off combinations, unfortunately. We are losing Yuri Mansour and Vitiki. We're losing probably Harry Charles and Sherlock because they're not wishing to contest the jump. Bassem Mohammed, but we're in there with Sienna Charles and Stardust. They've only done 3 jump-offs at this level, but 2 clears, 1 podium finish, which is very respectable for a young combination like themselves. I think if we're looking at podium rate to jump-offs, it's Paola Amilibia and Quinley, who have jumped 16 jump-offs at the 150 level and higher. Only 5 clears, so that is actually a low clear rate, but she has produced 7 podium finishes, which is very on the podium, so that could potentially be a combination to keep your eye on in a jump off. And then her husband, Federico Fernandez and Davidoff, 50% clear rate in those jump offs. Unfortunately, not yet a win, not yet a podium, but today could potentially be the day that that comes when we do have a couple of the stronger combinations withdrawing. Niamh McAvoy and Olympic, I think I've seen this combination jump a jump off in a national Grand Prix, and that's not included in these stats. I know that they can go fast. I know they can make it happen if they want to, and it's just a case of
spoken about. We're pretty keen to see, because that is her mission today, is to, at the very least, make the podium if possible. With all that in mind, then there've been a few changes, but let's of things, because it's been a bit. It'll mix it up a little bit now for us, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. With a 7% wind chance, which is very low, which means it is a very spread field. It's very open. But we don't have Bassem Mohammed, we don't have Yuri Mansour, so you know those chances are going to diminish. That plays into Marilyn Little's favour. Carl Cook, of course, and Foxy de la Roque. Again, it depends on whether Foxy is aimed at the Grand Prix tomorrow or if the aim is to try and win this class today. For the home crowd, there's Harry Smulders and Divino van der Wereterbach on a 4% chance of winning, and also Hessel Hoekstra and VDL Mindset ES on a 3% chance of winning, with the biggest chance of winning today. Paola Amilibia, like we mentioned before on the jump off table, is in there as well as one of the favourites. So it is very open today, and very for the Grand Prix tomorrow.
Beyonce and Charles, why not? I think the and Britain having a very, very good week in the Netherlands. 4/7 channel on Clip My Horse TV. It's all live, and it's all 4/7 channel on Clip My Horse TV. It's all live, and it's all free for you to watch. So don't forget to head over there. If you are watching on any of our social media platforms, you can head over to the 24/7 channel and continue to enjoy the sport and join us throughout the rest of the afternoon here in the In and Out studio. We will be looking forward to catching up with you in the break as well, and giving you a little bit more analysis before we head to the jump off. But for now, we want to head to our commentary team led by John Kyle.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Kralingse here in the Netherlands for CHIO Rotterdam as we get set for our Saturday jumping feature, and it is the Boels Prize, a metre 50 jump-off class. We've got a field of just about 35 coming forward over the track